Well, folks, that wasn't a good one. All you can do is kind of scratch your head on that. Bengals fall 29-14 to the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. I expected a loss. Didn't expect the domination that we saw from Pittsburgh. I predicted a 20-17 game, I believe is what it was. And I mean, we knew Pittsburgh was a solid team. I believe I predicted them to go to the Super Bowl this year. They're a dangerous team right now. They definitely rebounded that 19-13 victory over Kansas City last week. They looked really good then. They rebounded it again and continued to into this week here in a game against the Cincinnati Bengals that, two teams that don't like each other, and it showed, which team prepares better and which team makes the adjustments. That's what you see every week, and it seems like that's consistent with the Marvin Lewis team. You shake your head, how teams can come out of halftime and be completely different than what they were going into it. And that's how the Broncos not the Broncos. Hell, they looked awful too. I mean, losing 21-0 to the Chargers, embarrassing as well. But I got a little sidetracked there. But the Bengals starting off, I mean, defense looked, they looked solid to start off. The first drive of the game, Pittsburgh looked good. It was that third and long that, they make a play, convert, and then next thing you know, they drive down. They build off that momentum. Bengals come right back, have to punt. It is what it is. That's fine. No big deal. Then they rebound again, and then they force the Steelers to punt, and the Bengals drive down, score a touchdown, tie it up. They look good. I mean, the Bengals, going back, I mean, if you look at the first half, they were getting guys touches. They were Dalton looked fantastic. He finished at 17-30 for only 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Joe Mixon doesn't touch the ball in the second half. Gio Bernard, 3 carries, 8 yards. Mixon, 7 carries for 48 yards. It's a 6.9 yard, average. I mean, that's solid. AJ Green, 3 receptions, 41 yards. Brandon LaFell, 28 yards receiving on 4 receptions. So it's stuff like that you shake your head and you just it's all you can do. Ben Roethlisberger, he was, he made a couple really good throws. 14-24 for 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell's Le'Veon Bell. You know what you're going to get from Bell. He had 35 carries, 134 yards, 3.8 yard average. Antonio Brown, he had the touchdown reception along with Juju Smith-Schuster. Pittsburgh, they got it done. They bullied the Cincinnati Bengals. They made the adjustments. When the game's tied at the half, and it drives you nuts. I mean, I apologize. It wasn't tied at the half, but it felt like a huge disparity. You're down 20-14. You're down 6 points. And you can't get anything else after that. Again, it's the team. And I harken back to my preview of this game that the Steelers, they prepare like it's Bengals week. The Bengals, Marvin Lewis's approach is it is just another game. No, it is not. This is Steelers week. This is a heated rivalry within the AFC North. These two teams do not like each other. You can see in any play, you can see that Pittsburgh wants to embarrass the Bengals. Flat out, they just want to embarrass us. And good on them. I would expect we would think that the Bengals would want to embarrass Pittsburgh. They don't think that way. It's not in Marvin Lewis's head. He does not think that way. He's not about embarrassing other teams. They come in to halftime down 6 points. Okay, fine. No big deal. We get the ball at half, to start the second half. What do? Come out and look awful. They just do not make the adjustments that are needed at the time to finish teams off. It's always been that way. That's Marvin Lewis's MO. And as a fan, it drives you crazy. And, I mean, all you can do is just shake your head sometimes. I mean, you see I mean, you look. I mean, Antonio Brown gave was the 7-yard touchdown pass from Roethlisberger, 9-play, 75-yard drive to start off. Then the Bengals, like I said, they tie it up with an 8-play, 53-yard drive, and then that's when the touchdown from Juju Smith-Schuster. It was a 31-yard pass. That's when I gotta get this out. The celebration, perfect, spot on by the Steelers. I loved it. The hide and go seek was awesome. That was well done by them. I got a good laugh out of it. But it's just, then the Bengals tied up with a 12-play, 75-yard drive in the second quarter. Tyler Kroft, love the 4th down and 1 call. Love it. At that time, see, I'm not a football coach by any means. I don't claim to be. 4th and 1 at the goal line, I think you go for it. You had the momentum going in there. Love the play call. Love the balls that they had the balls. Converted. 1-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Kroft. Well done. Well done. And then it just went right after that. You hold teams to, then you give up, 5 more field goals to the Steelers after that. But it's frustrating because you see the Bengals and, like I said, their lack of adjustments and what comes of that. It makes you shake your head. And, you've got a weapon like Kevin Huber to flip field position. He 5 punts, 250 yards. He averaged 50 yards punting, 48.6 yards net. 2 inside the 20. He gets them pinned inside the 20-yard line. And then it's up to the defense. A normally stellar defense did not look stellar today. They looked like they pretty much forgot how to tackle. There were a couple plays they thought it was going to be all cute, trying to lower shoulder and knock a guy over instead of wrapping him up and taking him down. And what does Pittsburgh do? They continue on, and they continue marching on off of our mistakes and our lack of tackling. That's 100% on the defense there. They got nobody to blame but themselves. You've got Le'Veon Bell with the stiff arm on Dre Kirkpatrick that, wow. I mean, that's all you can say is wow. I mean, Dre, Dre kind of makes me shake my head a couple times, and each game I go, what are you doing? That was one. Dre looked lost a couple times. He was burned on the Antonio Brown play, and he is forced to to try and tackle Antonio Brown on a pass that was way over his head, which I didn't agree with the pass interference call. The ball was way out of the end zone. Defensive holding I would have been fine with. If somebody knows a little more about that, let me know on this, because I'm pretty sure that should not be a pass interference. Again, I could be wrong. I just want confirmation on that. But it's just frustrating to watch this team and their lack of execution in the second half. They play not to lose, and what happens? It bites them in the butt every single week. They come out, they fail to make adjustments, and it does. It gets them every single week. Things like this cannot happen if you have any hope of making the playoffs. This game right here just killed any chance of the Bengals making the playoffs. I'm not saying the season's done, but you can be respectable. But the way Pittsburgh, it doesn't look like they're going to falter coming up in the rest of the year. Pittsburgh, they're a damn good football team, and I know here in Cincinnati we love when they lose. But you know what? They get it done. You get a play like the fake punt. I mean, what a great audible at the line there. I mean, it's things like that just. I mean, for Golden to call that right at the end, right at the last second, and get the fake punt, that's fantastic. It was a 44-yard play. It's the longest play of the entire day for either team. So, good on them. They, and Mike Tomlin's sitting there with a little wink right after, as Golden comes to the sideline. It's stuff like that the Bengals, they don't do that anymore. And when things like that don't happen, it's tough to stay positive. And even, when you've got a chance to go on the road, and I mean, you're in a competitive game. Even with the 6-point lead at the half for Pittsburgh, it didn't feel it started to kind of feel like it was a lot bigger than that going into half, just because of the last drive of the second half for the Bengals. What was that? I mean, you have, Pittsburgh kicks a field goal. They kick a field goal with less than 2 minutes left. Okay, great. Here's a chance now that we get to go, get some points right before the half. They go 3 and out. They play conservative, and they end up punting. And then that's when you get a couple of those plays. You get the beautiful play by Ben, that pass to Antonio Brown, tucked right on in there. It's things like that. Bengals don't seem to get that luck, and, it continues to mount. And it's frustrating watching this team week in and week out when, they don't make the adjustments that need to be made. And that's 100% on coaching. That's 100% on Marvin Lewis and his staff. Marvin, right towards the end, you see the pictures of him. The cameras are on him. Marvin looks completely clueless. He looks scared. He looked clueless. Dalton looked scared right at the end, and he probably was, because the offensive line sucked. Pittsburgh, we knew that they were going to put a lot of pressure on the offensive line, and they did. And they forced Dalton, crapping his pants a lot in the second half. And, good on them. He throws 2 picks in the second half. 19 total yards for the Bengals offense in the second. I mean, that's inexcusable. That should not be happening on a team that, that has the offensive weapons. For Joe Mixon not to touch the ball in the second half, inexcusable. I'm sorry, it's inexcusable. That cannot happen. You're bringing Jeremy Hill out there, who 4 rushes for 7 yards. His longest run was 5 yards. Jeremy Hill he's just not good anymore. Jeremy Hill's not good anymore. That's the problem. They continue to run guys out like Jeremy Hill when guys like Joe Mixon need to touch the ball consistently. Gio Bernard and Joe Mixon need to have the ball in their hands if it's not obviously going to A.J. Green or somebody like that. Plain and simple. Jeremy Hill, I'm sorry. I've always been a fan of Jeremy Hill. I've stuck up for him, but I'm sorry. You've got a guy like Joe Mixon who can do something. He has to touch the ball and make plays, because he can make those plays. That's what has to happen. They got away from it in the second half. Granted, like I said, Dalton was under pressure. The offensive line sucked and things like that. I mean, the microcosm of this game was the drive where Dalton sacked twice. 3 plays, minus 24 yards. You have a 4th and 34. To start the fourth quarter, I mean, all you can do is laugh. That's all you can do at this point in time is just laugh. 4th and 34, a sack on first down where Mixon just looked clueless. I mean, it was obviously a miscommunication in the backfield, and, Bud Dupree got by and just made him look ridiculous. Second play was another, miscommunication where LaFell and I think it was AJ, they had no idea where the ball was going on that one. And then third play, gets sacked again. Bud Dupree sacks him. That was the microcosm of the second half for the Cincinnati Bengals when it was a tale of 2 halves and a tale of 2 teams. It seems to be the Bengals' MO every single game is, first half. And, I joke, with my mom, we've joked about after coming home from games to where, she's like, we never want halftime to come because what's going to happen coming out of it. Same situation here. Things started to look south after the last drive of the second half, or the first half for the Bengals when they went to 3 and out, punted, and just looked ridiculous, and Pittsburgh goes right down. That 6-point lead looked a lot bigger than just 6 points. It felt like 14 or so, if not a little more. That's what cannot happen. And, Bengals have a chance to rebound next week against an Indianapolis Colts team that's not very good. Andrew Luck's not going to be there. You have to beat this team at home, and you have to you got to take him behind the woodshed. That has to happen. Make a statement. And then, you know what? Then hell, maybe you can come out. You got 3 straight road games. You've got Tennessee on the road. You've got Jacksonville on the road and Denver on the road. 3 very winnable games. Jacksonville is tough. Cleveland just, went to overtime with Tennessee today. And Denver got shut out by the Chargers. Those are 3 very winnable games. The Bengals at this point in time now could be, I think, 6-4 after that, after the next 4 games. Crucial. Can they get it done? They have to get it done. And it starts, tomorrow. This week, it starts, tonight. Hell, on the plane ride home, I don't care. Get ready for Indianapolis and come out there, take them behind the woodshed, and embarrass them. That is what has to happen. And I want to see a team coming out, making adjustments. I know we've said it. We say it till we're blue in the face. Marvin Lewis does not make adjustments, and Lance McAllister just tweeted same as it ever was, and that's 1,000% accurate. Again, just a very frustrating day. I didn't think the Bengals were going to win. I thought a 3-point loss at most. Excuse me. I didn't expect a 29-14 game that wasn't close, and it wasn't close starting with 2 minutes, left in the half, and it wasn't even close after that. So, excuse me. Just a very frustrating day. Bengals did not look good. Plain and simple, they lost this one. You got to tip your cap to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who came out, bullied the Bengals all over, and they got the victory. And right now, they look like one of the best teams in the AFC, if not in the NFL. And they're going to be a team that, they're going to be a nasty team to play as always. And all you can, as a Bengals fan, it's just frustrating, but. The season's not lost. There's a good chance that our playoff hopes are shot with this loss here. So, with that being the case, hopefully they can rebound and come out. That's it. It's going to wrap it up here for tonight. As always, go to fieldimpactsports.com. Follow me on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock. And then also, let's see. My son was just interrupting me here right towards the end of this. But again, fieldimpactsports.com, on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock. Follow my YouTube page as well. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of the night.